A busy data team is not necessarily a valuable one. A recent study showed that the average office worker is only productive for 2 hours and 53 minutes per day, 31% of a traditional office week. That's because employees spend the majority of their time switching between tasks and doing work that is not high value. At the beginning of my career, I was one of those busy workers. I would always eat lunch at my laptop. When I first moved to Europe, I was shocked to see that during an hour of lunch in the middle of the day, no one was at their laptops. It was literally a ghost town on the floor from 12 to 1 p.m. Even more shocking was that the team was just as productive, despite spending an hour of their day away from their desks. And I finally figured out why. Because busy did not mean productive. And this is especially important today, now that companies are talking about AI and how to maximize productivity. Your teams are squeezed to do more work in the same amount of time. But in this video, I'm going to cover the patterns that turn your team into a service desk that is not high value and what productivity really looks like without having to be constantly busy. Imagine a restaurant where every customer walks in, hands the chef a handwritten recipe from their grandma, and asks for it to be made in 20 minutes. No menu, the kitchen is just expected to deliver whatever the customer wants. This would be a disaster, right? The chefs constantly switching between tasks, trying to read the handwriting. The kitchen is chaos because nothing is prepared in advance, and the customers are impatient, saying, "My grandma could make this with her eyes closed. This should be easy." And that is how most data teams operate. Analysts are frantic, trying to deliver the different orders from the business. And the business doesn't know how they work. So they just assume that any order should be easy. It's magic, and they can just figure it out quickly. But what the business really needs is some guidance, some recommendations. They need to know what the analysts specialize in, and the analyst needs to be organized, prepared for what's coming. To do this requires space, not constant requests. And the result is something better that was even asked, something they've never had before. Let's address the things that keep your team busy, but don't drive impact. The first is being a revolving door. Any request is just one ping away. Many data teams confuse availability with value. If people are coming to you with questions, that means you have a need in the company, right? But you know what's also really good at answering questions? Chatbots. And your team has so much more value to offer than a chatbot. Which brings me to the second trap, the yes reflex. We tend to think that we have to say yes to every request that comes our way. But this just dilutes the value of the work you produce. Prioritization means saying no to some things so that you can say yes to the more important things. Which ties into my final trap, the outcome over output trap. If your team is measuring success in dashboards built and tickets closed, you are looking at the wrong metrics. The value of your team is measured by your impact, not your output. This means actually doing fewer low-value tasks gives you more time for high-impact tasks. So here's what high-value teams actually look like. At first glance, they might look slower than other teams. They build fewer dashboards, they close fewer tickets, and they ask a lot of questions before the work even starts. But they walk into meetings with a point of view, not just some data. They are in the room, influencing what decisions get made, not just handling the request afterwards. And they have the visibility of leaders. Executives know what they're working on because it is top priority. The best data teams are the ones recognized by the rest of the business. So here are some tactical tips you can start using today. The first is, if you don't already have an intake form, set up a simple form with just 3 questions. 1, what do you need? 2, what decision will this help you make? And 3, who is making that decision and by when? The second tip is to set a maximum of 3 priorities at any time and to say no to everything else. Make it clear what 3 projects are your priority right now. Anything new that comes up before those 3 are delivered, you automatically say no to. And for any other task to take priority would require justification. Pushing back on new requests is not being difficult. It's ensuring you have the time to work on what matters most. And tip number 3, focus on decisions. It is never about the number of slides or the number of metrics. It is about having enough data to make a decision. Prioritize analysis that helps the business make decisions that either increase revenue, decrease cost, decrease risk, or increase speed. And if you're a leader watching this, listen up. Your team needs you to back them up. They cannot focus on impact if you keep coming to them with new requests, or if every time they push back, it just gets escalated to you and you make them do it anyways. Support your team and increase their value. And remember, the team that chooses to focus on the most impactful work will always have a role at the company. That's it for today. I hope you found this video valuable. And if you did, give this video a like and let me know in the comments which tip you found the most useful. And if you're interested in working with me to transform your team from task takers to valuable business partners, check out the description below this video.